can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls him his shots. He finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for a title as soon as possible.
Favorite DDP in that one, just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now, and he's shut me up bad every time. It may look like
these guys. I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him, and I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way. Chimaev, who's a killer.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yep.
He goes out there, I'm going to drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, what the?
Yeah.
If you can snap that on Chimaev for a second.
If Chimaev cannot get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent.
Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest from the world of MMA. Let's get into it. MMA guru and Demetrious Johnson recently broke down the upcoming clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis. Meanwhile, Dana White officially confirmed that UFC 319 is set for August 16th at the United Center in Chicago, the UFC's first return to the venue in 6 years. The main event will see Dricus Du Plessis put his middleweight crown on the line against the unbeaten Khamzat Chimaev. Du Plessis walks in on a 7-year win streak, with 20 of his 23 victories ending by finish. His recent run includes dominant wins over former champions like Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. On the other hand, Chimaev boasts a perfect 16-0 record going into the biggest fight of his career.
Now UFC 319. We're returning to the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, August 16th for the first time in 6 years. In the main event, the middleweight champion, Dricus Du Plessis, will defend his belt against Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus' last 4 wins have come over former champs Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, and Robert Whittaker. He hasn't lost in 7 years. 20 of his 23 wins have come by finish, and now he faces the undefeated 16-0 Khamzat Chimaev.
Despite previously believing Du Plessis had the upper hand, MMA guru now admits he's uncertain. He still slightly favors DDP, noting his strength may be enough to prevent Chimaev from imposing his will. But he also recognizes how elite Chimaev is. Guru mentioned he wants Dricus to win and continues to lean that way, but also highlighted Chimaev's overwhelming threat in the opening minutes. According to him, Chimaev is a round 1 guy, and if he's going to get the job done, it'll likely happen early.
DDP? I don't know anymore, man. These guys I used to think, you know what, DDP's got him. And I still think that, dude, he might just be too strong to be muscled around like this.
Yeah.
But Chimaev is truly on a different level.
I think DDP beats him.
I think he could, and I am leaning that way.
Yeah.
But now I'm real.
Yeah.
You know, I also want DDP to win, but I'm leaning towards DDP.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea of Chimaev is a round 1 guy.
Yeah.
You know? If he takes out DDP in round 1, he's got him.
Demetrious Johnson echoed a similar sentiment but added another layer. He argued that if Chimaev fails to secure a finish early, his effectiveness could decline quickly. Johnson cited Chimaev's performances against Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, fights where he gained advantageous positions but couldn't close the show. In his view, if Chimaev can't figure Dricus out by the 2nd round, the momentum will start tilting. Johnson pointed out that while Chimaev may have superior athleticism and classic technique, Du Plessis' unpredictable rhythm and awkward style might be the difference maker.
If Chimaev cannot get him down.
He will, but yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounding him, could not finish him,
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever.
Yep.
But if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to do what he does best.
Yep.
He's going to be awkward. He's going to be, ha, 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 you know, do the kicks. And I think DDP is going to beat him.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see it.
I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think the awkwardness of the old, what did he say? The lanky man style.
Yep.
I think DDP is going to put it in the bag.
MMA Guru took things a step further. He argued that Du Plessis shouldn't only focus on takedown defense, but should actually initiate offense right away, even attempting his own takedown. Chimaev expects to dominate from the start, so flipping the script could catch him off guard. According to Guru, previous opponents like Whittaker, Usman, and Burns allowed Chimaev to dictate the pace early. But if DDP is aggressive out the gate, it could interrupt Chimaev's rhythm and force hesitation.
So this is why I don't think DDP should go out there like, oh,
Yeah.
got stuff to take down. Dude, get on his hips before you.
Yep.
You know? And if he stuffs it, so be it. It'll be the least thing he expects. And for a second, Chimaev, who's a killer,
Yeah.
he's a murderer.
Yep.
He goes out there, I'm going to drag this guy in the first round, destroy him. For a second, he goes, what the...
Yeah.
If you can snap that on Chimaev for a second, Whittaker, he never had a moment in that fight where he thought, what's going on?
It was he got me back.
He was complete composure. Same with Usman. Burns had him re-second guess himself.
Yep.
But all the good first rounds he's had, there's never been a snap in his mental game. That always happens in the later rounds. But if DDP shoots on him, there's a moment in Chimaev's head where he goes, what the f*** are you doing?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's not this killer in a fight.
Yeah.
Guru continued by saying, even if Chimaev defends the early attempt, it still shifts the momentum. If DDP goes for a leg, regains guard, or starts landing strikes from the bottom, it's far better than allowing Chimaev to lock down side control. Guru also highlighted the new rule set allowing knees to a grounded opponent, making it even riskier to be pinned underneath Chimaev. To survive, DDP must be proactive, not reactive, and refuse to let Chimaev settle into dominant positions.
He's asking a question. He's on my hips.
Yeah.
If he sprawls it, if he gets the whizzer and throws DDP over, and why did DDP do that? Now DDP can go, well, I'm going for a leg.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a leg. See how he deals with this.
Yep.
I'm going to get guard back.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can elbow him off bottom position. It's much easier to survive in guard than it is for someone to have
Side control.
side control with their body lock, and they can punch you, especially now with knees and you can't play the hand game. Don't get caught up.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in those positions and choose it.
Chael Sonnen also weighed in. According to him, Du Plessis, who has trained with both fighters, expects Chimaev to bring early chaos, but he's confident DDP can weather that storm. The deciding factor, Sonnen says, is cardio. Every passing minute favors Du Plessis. Chael admitted that just a few months ago, he would have picked Chimaev to win comfortably. But now, he's starting to see the same thing others are noticing. Du Plessis isn't just winning, he's proving championship-level greatness.
Renner has trained with both of them. He said there's going to be an early storm by Chimaev, but he believes Dricus can sustain the storm, and each passing minute favors Dricus. Now, what he's talking about is conditioning. If you asked me about that fight 2 years ago or a year ago, even 6 months ago, I would have quickly dismissed it and told you Chimaev. I would tell you Chimaev every single round. But I don't feel that way anymore. I feel and I'm seeing what other people are feeling and seeing. The greatness of Dricus, it is something that is now not only witnessed, but recognized.
MMA Guru concluded by reiterating that even if Chimaev takes Du Plessis down in round 2, the fight remains competitive. If he were in DDP's corner, he'd suggest starting aggressive, something Chimaev likely wouldn't anticipate. Guru added that if Dricus does shoot, he should aim to pull guard in the center of the octagon, avoiding the fence. That approach would give him better angles, space to move, and more options to attack, while minimizing the risk of being controlled in a disadvantageous position.
I got DDP.
DDP.
I think he'll survive the first round. Second round will be competitive. He might get taken down again.
Okay.
But I think he'll shoot in. I don't know. If I'm DDP, I'm shooting in on Chimaev.
Okay.
He might not be thinking that. He might think that's dumb.
Yeah, I don't think he'll shoot
No,
him.
I don't know.
I think he'll do.
You know what I mean? He'll
Yeah.
choose something. If he is getting taken down, he'd be like, I'm pulling guard.
Yeah,
I
I would
ain't
hope
getting dragged.
he had that.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if he does have that IQ of like, it's going to be on my terms where I
Yeah.
want you to land.
And I'm not going to be cramped up against a cage.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the center first.
Yep.
If you shoot early, we're in the center of the cage. I'm in guard.
Yep.
I'm not getting cramped up in guard up against the cage where I can't maneuver and I can't get to a leg and I can't pull an arm bar because the cage is there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think he takes the center early, doesn't stuff it,
Yep.
lets it,
Yep.
flops right to his back, but it'll be so easy for Chimaev, whereas other people might put up a better sprawl.
Yeah.
It'll be so easy that he'll land better for himself, in a better situation for himself. So I think DDP round 4, round 3, TKO.
Jamahal Hill also threw his support behind Dricus Du Plessis. He admitted that he's doubted DDP before, only to be proven wrong repeatedly. Hill pointed out that Du Plessis brings a rare combination of cardio and physical strength that can break opponents. While Chimaev has had moments of fading in later rounds, Hill also complimented DDP's awkward and difficult-to-read striking. He's confident Dricus will find opportunities to land clean shots. Still, Hill added that Chimaev's elite grappling cannot be dismissed.
I probably favor DDP in that one just for the simple fact of I've doubted this dude so many times now and he's shut me up bad every time. It may look like he's like fatiguing or he's like slowing down, but he's really not. I think he's got the better cardio. His physical strength, I believe, can pose a problem for anybody in that division. We've seen Khamzat fade over the course of rounds before. I just believe Dricus has a really, really awkward way of throwing strikes that's not easy to time, get a read on. So I believe he will land. So I probably lean more towards DDP, but you can't count a guy like Khamzat out. I believe he's one of the best natural pure grapplers. He does have the ability to throw some hands too, so it's interesting.
Ilia Topuria, meanwhile, expressed deep respect for both fighters. He sees Chimaev as a finisher, someone who doesn't aim to outpoint his opponents but seeks to dominate. Topuria wants to see him get his title shot. Having close relationships with both men, Ilia said fans should expect a wild, high-level battle, and he hopes both fighters show up at their very best.
He's the man. He's a savage. He calls his shots. He finishes his opponents. When he goes inside the octagon, you know that that guy goes for the finish. He's not looking for the decision. That's why I respect Khamzat. He's a beast. So he deserves to fight for the title as soon as possible. We're gonna have an amazing fight because I love Dricus Du Plessis. He's a great human being. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with Khamzat also. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, it's gonna be a very exciting fight. I hope the best man wins, and I wish best of the luck to both of them.
Bo Nickel leaned toward Chimaev as well, citing his superior grappling. As a wrestler himself, Nickel admitted his bias, but he emphasized how grappling has become the most dominant style in the sport today. He pointed to guys like Merab, Islam, Bilal, and Chimaev as examples of that dominance. Even striking specialists like Whittaker rely on wrestling to neutralize threats. According to Nickel, the grappling game is what separates elite from elite.
I would, just based on the styles, I just think the grappling style, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Merab, you got Islam, you got Bilal, you got Khamzat. You even have, you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style, and he does a lot more striking. But his background is wrestling. He did that before anything else, and so it's really wrestlers that are dominating, grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
But Nickel was also honest about Chimaev's biggest question mark: the later rounds. He said that if this fight goes into the championship rounds, Du Plessis has the tools and experience to take over. Still, he's standing by his belief that grappling will be the deciding factor, and that it gives Chimaev the edge overall.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a fourth and a fifth round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. If it goes deep, fourth and fifth round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out, but all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
Robert Whittaker focused on Chimaev's takedown abilities, calling them powerful and incredibly difficult to stop. But he also praised Du Plessis' heart and grit. Whittaker said DDP is one of the toughest guys in the game, and if anyone can absorb the early onslaught from Chimaev, it's him. That's where momentum can swing.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think's going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. Can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Kamaru Usman shared his thoughts too, saying that if Chimaev takes your back in round 1, it's almost impossible to get out. His grip strength and positional control are exceptional. But Usman is curious to see if Chimaev can maintain that intensity against someone like Du Plessis, who might pose unique problems he hasn't encountered yet.
Khamzat Chimaev on your back in round 1 is not easy to get off. And then he was able to sink that in. And that goes to show how strong of a squeeze this freaking dude had.
Could he pull that same style against Dricus Du Plessis? Because I will say this.
1000%.
Dominic Cruz highlighted Du Plessis' striking variety and his ability to switch stances. That, Cruz believes, makes him harder to take down. He sees DDP as physically strong enough to hang with Chimaev in the early exchanges, something many others have failed to do. But even Cruz admitted this may be the biggest challenge Du Plessis has faced so far.
I actually really like Dricus right now, the way he's looking. Like I said in the Schmo interview, he doesn't really stay on the center line. His striking and the stance switch really supports him in the rest of the takedown defense. Yeah. Because as long as you don't sit right in front of a guy consistently, it's hard to get a hold of the legs and shoot on you. So he's also very big and strong. So I think he can challenge the strength of Chimaev in the first 2 rounds, which a lot of people haven't been able to rival. Just the strength alone has been too much. And I think Dricus is sturdy enough and big enough. He can challenge it. But I will say, I think it might be the toughest fight of his career so far.
Tim Welch had an interesting take. He said a matchup between Chimaev and Sean Strickland would be fascinating because of how good Strickland is at recovering from takedowns. Welch also noticed Chimaev being more composed and respectful in recent high-profile bouts. Still, he believes Dricus knows how to mess with opponents mentally. And if he gets in Chimaev's head, we could see a chaotic, emotional version of Khamzat show up on fight night.
I mean, I would love to see Khamzat versus Strickland too. Khamzat said in training, I submitted him multiple times. In a fight, it's a little different. And Strickland, you've seen Strickland get dumped before. He is an expert at getting up. He's really good wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu. But just like you said, can you survive the first 3 minutes with that dude? Gnarly. I miss the crazy Khamzat, but now that he's getting into these top 5 elite guys, I mean, it's probably better that he's not crazy Khamzat.
Dude, I mean, that looked like crazy Khamzat to me.
All week being respectful of press conferences, respectful of like everything.
Yeah.
It was a lot different than he used to be.
DDP has a way of poking at opponents too, though, so you might be able to pull that crazy Khamzat back out of him.
I'd love to see DDP beat him.
Henry Cejudo, once critical of Du Plessis, admitted that his opinion has changed. He praised DDP's scrambling ability and constant pressure, which could make life very difficult for Chimaev. Cejudo warned that Chimaev will need to be careful with energy management if he wants to go 5 rounds. He now sees DDP as a serious problem, and no longer underestimates his toughness or output.
Does Khamzat beat DDP?
Man, Khamzat could beat anybody in the world in about a round. I'm super impressed with what he did to Robert Whittaker. I don't see that against DDP. DDP's scrambling, man. You're going to need to really be able to pace yourself for 5 rounds. And with DDP's train just continue to keep rolling and he's still steaming and his train's still hot. It depends on how long DDP wants to take a break. You're going to have to prepare, man, for a guy like DDP. You're going to need a 3-rounder or a 5-rounder to get ready, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think DDP's too... I used to think he was the sloppiest thing on planet Earth, and I thought the same thing about Rob until they bring that volume and just the tenacity. It changes everything.
Joe Rogan gave high praise to Chimaev's pressure and grappling-heavy style. He called Chimaev a terrifying force inside the cage especially early on. But he also pointed out that the real test will be whether Chimaev can carry that same firepower deep into the fight, particularly against a guy like Du Plessis, who keeps coming forward no matter what.
Dana White confirms Khamzat Chimaev is next.
Dricus Khamzat is a pretty big fight that you guys could put on right now.
Yeah. I would give DDP the advantage over Khamzat right now.
Styles make fights, and you've never seen Dricus fight. Good wrestler, and Khamzat's one of the best.
Khamzat just shoots from like 15 feet away and gets a hold of your leg. But I look at and you got to think his endurance is probably going to be better at 85 than it was at 70 because of the cut. Yeah. For Khamzat, it's like 85 is really where he should have been all along.
But again, he gassed out against Usman. Usman went up to 85.
Usman's a world champion. You know, in the third round, Usman did what a world champion does. He rallied.
Luke Rockhold spoke on the mental side of fighting. He said that beyond skill, it's desire that wins fights. Rockhold acknowledged Chimaev's willingness to risk it all, but said if he fails to dominate early, things could spiral quickly. If this fight stretches into the later rounds, Rockhold thinks Dricus has the tools to turn the tide and potentially take over.
It's not always about the most technical guy. You know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does. You know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard third, fourth, and fifth round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Azamat Bako noted that Du Plessis is constantly underestimated. He acknowledged Chimaev's finishing ability but sees this matchup as razor close. While he slightly favors Chimaev with a 55% edge, he believes it will be a brutal and competitive war from start to finish.
Everybody underestimates the champion, Dricus Du Plessis, but I think it's going to be not easy fight for Khamzat Chimaev. But Khamzat Chimaev also strong. He destroyed a lot of fighters, and but I still think it's going to be close fight. And who knows who's gonna win? Maybe 55%. So it's Chimaev, like that.
So, what do you think? Will Khamzat Chimaev keep the perfect streak alive? Or will Dricus Du Plessis prove once again that doubting him is a mistake? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. More epic matchups and fighter insights are just a click away.